First, let's start with this case. I, 27, know this guy for over 3 years. I relocated to his hometown for job and was introduced to him through our mutual friend. The mutual friend is my close friend who lives in the state I used to live. And she's the guy's tax accountant, where they have a good client-customer relationship, but never meet in person. So whatever she knows about him is all on paper. Being a woman living in a completely new city, I didn't have a lot of friends or resources. He was happy to help troubleshoot my car once, and we clicked enough to prolong the communication and eventually formed a platonic, romantic relationship. We're not officially dating because we enjoy our freedom and both of us have commitment issue, but I'd say we can be comfortable around each other. Anyway, in the beginning phase of us hanging out, I did some research on the guy and found out his court records. All are public info if you know their name. Let's just say he was quite troublesome. Some of them he was open about and told me when the opportunity came, but there was this one serious record that he never disclosed. I noticed some of the white lies he told me along the way, i.e., said he has never been arrested, but I know for that record he must have been arrested, to avoid getting to that story. I didn't call him out, and figured he would tell me when he trusted me enough. Fast forward to last week, we were having an argument and that topic came up. He asked me out of the blue if I knew about his records, and I admitted I have been aware, all of them, a long time ago. He took it pretty hard and was in shock that I went behind his back to invade his privacy. Took away his choice to tell me on his own terms. He's also upset that I pretended I didn't know the entire time. Back when we started seeing each other a lot, we did a lot of hiking and overnight road trips, and I barely knew this person and was completely new to the area. I wanted to enjoy life, but also needed to worry about my safety. Obviously, those records did not stop me from continue getting to know him. I preceded the situation knowing what I was getting myself into. I did not judge him for his past mistakes and did not use any of the info I know against him. And I thought not mentioning I knew about his records as giving him the choice to talk about it when he's ready. Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. You did nothing wrong. And he shouldn't have lied to you. Him then getting butthurt about you acting like you didn't know he was lying is pretty pathetic. You're not in the wrong. You didn't invade his privacy. You did your homework. You've known him for over 3 years, and he expects us to believe he had plans of telling you? Nah, fam. He was going to keep it a secret and is just trying to gaslight you into feeling bad rather than owning up to lying to you. He's idiot, not you. You're not in the wrong. You can't invade a person's privacy by looking up public records. Should you have told him up front that you did it? Maybe, but I'm not really sure. He definitely should not have lied, and he doesn't really have grounds to complain that he got caught in a lie. He should be thankful you stood by him in spite of his past. Next up, I'm 17, the second youngest in my family. I have 2 sisters and a brother, Jesse, 23F, Caden, and Luna, 14F. This post is about Luna. We're the only 2 siblings still living at home, and our parents do provide us with food and stuff. But my parents aren't big on chocolate or candies, so they never buy them. We can buy our own with our own money once we're old enough to earn some, which is what I do. My parents also have a very bland palate. They don't like curries or stir-fries with sauce. They don't do anything spicy at all. Not even a touch of spice. But I love those things. So sometimes I buy stuff to make those things and make curry for myself, or I'll make spicy chicken. So on to Luna. She's the baby of the family, and our parents spoiled her way more than the rest of us. They let her get away with being a brat to people, and she's not someone I like being around. And neither do our older siblings. She always wants to tell us what to do, and she demands things. One time my parents were away at a wedding, and Jesse and Caden came home to babysit, which was just my parents saying they could stay at the house and eat for free because they paid for it and make sure Luna and I were okay. This was last year, and Luna screamed so loud the neighbor came out to see if we were okay, and it was all because she wanted pizza while we wanted ramen. Luna said we couldn't have ramen and we all needed to get pizza. She tried taking the money out of Jesse's hand. She tried to break Jesse and Caden's phones. She even screamed at the neighbor that we wouldn't let her get pizza. Caden found a frozen pizza, and Luna screamed more that it wasn't what she wanted. Another time, Caden was home from college, and she demanded he take her to her friend's house because Mom and Dad weren't home. She pulled him out of bed. She threatened to break his laptop. Everything. She's always telling me to do stuff for her and screaming when I say no. So I never buy her anything from what I earn, because I honestly don't feel like she deserves it. Lately, she's been getting so jealous of the food I buy myself, and she told me to save some for her. I told her no. She told me I can't tell her no, and I said I can. And I did, and I'll do it again. She screamed into my face and demanded I give her some of my food. I said no. She has food in the fridge. She ran and told our parents, and like they always do, they backed her and told me I should be willing to share. I told them I would share when she treats me better and gets a way better attitude. My parents and Luna are pissed. Luna called me a jerk, and my parents said I wasn't being generous like they taught me to be. Let's start judging. A teenager throwing tantrums over food and threatening to destroy people's property sounds like a recipe for a complete disaster of an adult. You're not in the wrong, but your parents really are, because life will show Luna flames. You're not in the wrong, and it sounds like Luna is going to have an interesting life, in a bad way, when she reaches adulthood. If you want me to share, then you can pay for it. You want me to be generous? I think you mean a doormat who gives into constant verbal abuse. You're not in the wrong. Also, she needs professional help. Something isn't right. Next up, my 28F ex-best friend Cassie, 26F, started dating Josh 6 months ago. I noticed some red flags during the Meet Him lunch I attended with them. He was 2 hours late, overly touchy despite Cassie asking him to stop, then ignored me and only whispered in her ear. After I told her his behavior made me uncomfortable and I would like a fourth person next time, she agreed. Josh became a bit controlling. He told her not to talk about their relationship with anyone, and she stopped opening up to me. He'd wanted have a talk with me to not to talk to her so late one time. It was only 11. When I pointed out these red flags, she brushed them off, saying no one else had ever shown her attention before. While this was happening, my grandma was getting worse, and I struggled with it. When I asked Cassie to meet up, she repeatedly declined to hang with Josh, even though I had supported her through her family crisis last year. Eventually, I stopped reaching out. After my grandma passed, I went out of state for her funeral. 2 of my friends came to support me, which meant a lot, but I didn't expect anyone to show up. It was 3 hours away. Weeks later, Cassie called, upset I didn't invite her, claiming I excluded her on purpose. I told her I didn't invite anyone, but she accused me of being a bad friend and dismissed everything I'd been going through. I told her I needed grace to not be okay, but the conversation left me hurt. Months later, she apologized and said she wanted to fix our friendship, but I noticed I was always the one reaching out again after, so I stopped. A month ago, Cassie called to say Josh planned to propose and hinted at wanting me as a bridesmaid, though she didn't directly ask. She mentioned her mom and sister were against the engagement, but she disregarded them, which was weird given how close they are. I advised her to hear them out, but we didn't talk much afterward. Last week she texted me asking why I was upset with her and urged me to talk about it so she knew what she did wrong. I replied that I wasn't mad, but friendships can change over time due to different priorities. I also admitted I was scared of her reaction if I said I couldn't be a bridesmaid. Cassie said she doesn't want our friendship to end because I've taught her so much, but I feel like she hasn't been there for me during one of the hardest times of my life. I don't want to be a bridesmaid, and honestly, I don't feel like she's been a friend for a while. Am I in the wrong for declining to be a bridesmaid and stepping back from the friendship, only being cordial in group settings? Let's start judging. She's breadcrumbing you so you don't completely disappear, but she's not a friend to you anymore. Even more, she's bringing the chaos of her relationship into your friendship and life. She was warned by you. You did your part and can walk away knowing you did the right thing, but you can't keeping on this roller coaster with her. You're not in the wrong. You're not in the wrong. It sounds like your friend is in an abusive relationship, and her boyfriend is dripping poison into her ear. When I was with my abusive ex, they would take existing insecurities and heighten them into a distorted reality. This person didn't invite me to this thing. I wonder if we're still close. Became, this person has never liked me and is lying. And if they really cared, they would do this, this, and this. They took normal negative thoughts and twisted them until I was all alone and felt like no one cared about me. Your friend is living in a distorted reality. You're going to be affected by that if you stay with her. She's going to have poison oozing out of her pores until she realizes what's happening. It's a lot. You're probably not in a place to deal with that. You don't have to drown with her to be a good person, especially if she's not willing to swim. I was someone who wanted to be told, hey, you're in an abusive relationship, and I will be here for you when you're ready to get out, but I can't handle this. Most people are not. If you're feeling very generous, a simple, I love you, but I need space from you right now. I think James might be twisting people's words. You were really close to your mom and sister and they love you. Just check if James says things to comfort you, or things that make things worse and makes you feel more lonely. And take space. People in abusive relationships have a hard time admitting it and getting help. Often it's not the big statements that wake you up, but the small ones. People get defensive. The reality of things is being warped around them to keep them off balance. You're not in the wrong. She is ignoring everyone telling her how dangerous this guy is. She's settling just because she's getting attention. Damn, that sucks. I think on your part, the damage is done. And as much as you're aware it's the hold he has over her, that hurt goes too deep, and she's fully aware she's dropped the ball. She just believes she's not done anything wrong. Do tell her no. You don't support that marriage for starters, and she's hurt you deeply. Harsh enough not being there, but to accuse you of not being a good friend because you didn't invite her? You were trying to talk to her, and she never had time for you. But does when she can accuse you of not thinking of her while you're shocked and grieving, yikes, then flakes and repeats. Nah, stuff that. The damage is done. Her mom and sister will likely be there when she needs to get out. Take care. You're not in the wrong. Next up, I recently received a text from my older brother simply asking, do you have good credit? When I replied to him and answered that I do, he proceeded to ask me to be a co-signer on car. Another Mercedes. He has wasted so much money on different cars over the years and has put himself into debt because of it. So much so that he had to file for bankruptcy. He has a child now and his current Mercedes is too small to be a dad car, so he wants to upgrade to another one. As much as I want to be a good sister and try and help him out, I told him no, as his financial track record is concerning. Now let me tell you, he's got a great job and makes good money. He's in the trades. I'm a teacher and I make far less than him, but I am good with my finances, student loans and all. When I told him no, he got aggravated and has been pretty much annoyed with me since, saying it's bad of me to not help out when I have a good credit score. But the fact of the matter is, I'm scared he'll ruin it. I have my own bills to pay. I need to keep my credit up to par for when I'm ready to buy property, since I've been saving to do so. And when I explained this to him, and the fact that I do have so many other monthly bills I pay for on top of paying off student debt, he still couldn't comprehend my reasoning, and sort of just scoffed it off. Am I in the wrong for telling him no for my own financial safety? Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. Bad credit and he drives a Mercedes? Huge red flag. I still wouldn't co-sign with him, but you could do your brother a favor and show him a Toyota dealership. You're not in the wrong. He's clearly already ruined his own credit. Under no circumstances should you allow him to ruin yours. If he's not underwater, he could sell his current Mercedes and buy a good used car large enough for his family. But then that would be the mature, financially responsible option, and it doesn't sound like your brother is ready for adulting. Stay strong and protect yourself. You're not in the wrong. Under no circumstances should you co-sign for a loan with someone who has already shown they have poor money management skills. Stand your ground.